Chris Lee, Blake Lovell, and Blayne Gilmer out 14 here, continuing our bold predictions for SEC football in 2023. Blayne Gilmer, let's start with you. Your bold prediction for the Florida Gators in 2023.
All right. I like to keep it real. I like to keep it authentic around here. And everybody knows that I am not very high on Florida this year. I will get that out of the way. But I got to sitting down and letting things go through my mind here. And I started looking for bold predictions. I started looking at the schedule. I looked at, all right, who the players are, things like that. But I kept coming back to the schedule. And I looked at something that I thought was very interesting for Florida. They have 2 home games that no one is going to give them a chance in. That I think I'm going to make the bold prediction that Florida either beats Tennessee or Florida State at home this year. They will beat one of those 2 teams at home, and here's why. Because Tennessee is going to come off of the first 2 games essentially at home, one in Nashville against Virginia and then Austin Peay at home, where they will have beat both of those teams like they stole something. Okay. They are going to be the Joe Milton Heisman train is going to be in just full on, just steaming down the tracks mode. And Florida, I think, is going to be in wounded animal mode because I think they will have lost to Utah, and then they're going to come home, get a cupcake win. But I think they're going to know, hey, our back's against the wall. We got an SEC team. We can't afford to go 1-2 to start the year. And they're coming to the Swamp. And we remember how Tennessee was, this was Tennessee's, superstar best team in forever last year. And Florida almost beat them last year in Knoxville. So I think they either get that one or you have another scenario in the Florida State game where Florida State will have been steamrolling through the ACC, just pounding on those pastries over there, just absolutely poor excuses for football teams that Florida State is just going to be more athletic than, and they're going to have their eyes on an ACC championship game, and they got to go to the Swamp as well. And Florida could be playing for their coach, making sure that, hey, we want everybody to know we still believe in Billy Napier. We're playing for our coach. They either win that Tennessee game or they win that Florida State game, Chris. I think, though, that is my bold prediction for the Gators in 2023.
I thought your bold prediction was about to be that 8 teams on that schedule wind up in the top 25 at season's end. I'm not sure how bold that is, other than the fact that, a lot of them are SEC teams. They may lose enough games and knocking each other off that doesn't make that happen. But that is a brutal schedule, as everybody knows. Blake, your turn.
All right, so I'm smirking earlier. I knew this was going to happen. We did all 14 teams in the series, and we were at some point going to have 2 of us that had the exact same thing. And so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch this up because I can actually do this, I think, and still make this work. So Phil still had a great stat, I thought. And I think we may have talked about this last year, about Billy Napier. 16-4-1 against the spread as an underdog. As a head coach. So 16-4-1 as an underdog against the spread, but he also has 9 outright upset wins. So what I was going to do was kind of do the exact same thing with Blayne and say they were going to either beat Tennessee or Florida State. But what I can do is say they will pick up a couple of outright upset wins this season. So because I think right now when you look at the schedule, and this again just ties right into what Blayne said, they're going to be the underdog in quite a few games, I think, going into it. And it may be a field goal, right? It may be 2 points. They're going to be close in some of those, but I think they will be an underdog in several games at least, probably going into the season just from a betting standpoint. And so I will go with that, and it does kind of play into that. And I did, at first, I was like, who are the teams that I would probably give them, if I was going to go bold, it would be the 2 teams they play at home that are top 10 teams, essentially, in Tennessee and Florida State. So I'll switch it up and go with that instead, Chris, and just sort of tie in the continued against the spread wizardry of Billy Napier to continue that theme and pick up 2 outright upset wins this season.
Did you say 9 times?
9 outright upset wins.
That's a lot. All right. Here's my prediction. Florida rushed the ball pretty well a year ago, and Anthony Richardson was part of that. And maybe taking him out of the equation hurts their chances to do this in some ways. But I think Florida's bread is going to be buttered in the running game. I think they've got two really good running backs. I thought about predicting 1,000-yard seasons for both these guys. Don't know if that's realistic. So I split the difference a little bit. Trevor Etienne and Montrell Johnson will combine to rush for 2,000 yards. So there's I don't know how bold a prediction it is, but I think
that was second on my list. So there you go.
So, yeah, I mean, I guess it'd be bolder to pick them each going over 1,000 yards. But
that's what I had. If I would have probably went the other way.
The question is, will they pass for 2,000 yards?
Well, could be. The receiving core after Ricky Pearsall is not a plethora of household names. Doesn't mean they're not any good, but it's just it's not the Florida receiving core of the Steve Spurrier days for sure. All right, we have now finished our bold prediction series. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like our channel. We got plenty more content coming up as we are nearing week 0 of the college football season. Best way to get all that, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, tell a friend. For Blake Lovell and Blayne Gilmer, I'm Chris Lee of Southeastern 14. Thank you for watching. We'll see you again soon.